to the new segment of the podcast, Diagnosing Lauren.
Wild Til. Are you ready?
Yep, let's go home.
Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all of your home projects done well. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need.
Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you could do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Welcome back to Wild Till 9. Today we have a guest who is currently snoozing, and I think he might be out of frame. So when you hear little snorts...
No, it won't be out of frame. Everyone's going to be watching this on their Apple Vision. So
perfect.
Just look down.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see him.
Pinch the screen and move around until you can see.
I'm sorry, pinch the what?
Pinch the screen.
You mean pinch the air?
The air. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jeremy we just went immediately from watching what does it stand for? What is WWDC?
A Worldwide Developer Conference?
Is that what it is?
Pretty sure. That's it.
That
seems like an acronym that I should know.
I'm so glad that we're a tech podcast. This is so
welcome back to
exciting.
Wild Till 9, the tech podcast. You've all been waiting for it. Yeah, Worldwide Developers Conference.
Developers Conference.
Kind of presumptuous to just call their event the Worldwide Developers Conference.
Is it an Apple only event?
Yes.
Right. Why don't they just call it like Apple Day?
Oh, they should call it the Orchard. Going to bits and bites at the Orchard.
I think that maybe
Grab
you
a
should stay.
bite at the Orchard.
I think maybe you should stay on the tech side and not the branding side.
What do you think? Why?
So today they just rolled out the goggles. It's like
goggles.
It's like Apple
Okay,
Smell-O-Vision.
boomer.
What's it called? Apple Vision? Provision?
Provision. Let's see.
Apple.
I don't know. It came out minutes ago, and I know that everyone comes to this podcast to hear about the latest Apple news. So you're welcome. Apple unveils Vision Pro, augmented reality headset.
I don't know. Is it Black Mirror? Do you want it? It's also like $3,500. It's expensive.
Yeah, but compared to the $10,000 computer that they also released,
That's true.
That it took me 7 seconds to order.
Did you order it?
Yes, absolutely.
The $10,000 one?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't think anyone realizes just how cumbersome it is to have these 100-minute 4K files every week.
Do you want the goggles?
Okay. I'm actually... do you want to talk about... Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know. I'm curious.
I'm scared as shit of the goggles.
Scared. It's so scary. I think it's really scary.
Well, okay, why are you scared?
I think it's scary because I think we already live in, and by we, I mean me, but I do feel as if a lot of people do relate to this. Just like, I live in a state of constant anxiety. Okay. And I just feel like, I don't know.
So you were born after the year 1990 and live in America.
Right. And so I'm just living in a constant state of anxiety and stress and panic. But I don't know. I just think it's one more thing to make us out of touch with reality, I guess.
Okay.
In a weird, I don't know. I just like, I feel the most grounded personally when I go into the real world, I guess. And not necessarily having social experiences, but just like doing physical things with like my regular senses interacting with the world, doing regular things like the way the body was like made to do it.
Or at least has done it for the last few millennia.
Or has done it right. Exactly. And so like, I don't know. It makes me nervous that it'll just create, you know what it is? It's isolation. That's what it makes me nervous for. It makes me nervous that people are going to isolate themselves more than we already are in a world where technology is so advanced already.
I think your take is very similar to mine.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had a lot of time to think about this since it's been announced 14 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So this is well thought out. And if anyone references this in 20 years, that's totally acceptable.
Right.
My biggest fear is porn.
Oh, yes. And this too.
My biggest
And
fear is porn.
we touched on this a little bit 2 episodes ago. The episode before we
we
had Michelle. Well, like we briefly touched on it about how like there's like the percentage of single men who are just not dating.
Let's pull this exact fact up. Let's not paraphrase this one, but this is I'm with you. This is the thing that like scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The percentage of guys who are single now
Yeah.
and like not interested in going out into the world and
Yeah.
dating is so unbelievably high. And we've listened to other podcasts about this as well too, and read articles about how just that like if they're getting their needs met via
but like
an AI partner and
but like
now
needs
a
met in a different way than it's ever been quote unquote met before, and
Right.
also are they being met or are they getting a short term like dopamine hit
Right, that's
that is-
enough.
that's disguising
Yeah.
what they actually want?
I have the number.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
what
do
is
it.
it?
So 63% of men under 30 are electively single.
Yes, 63%. That's crazy.
Where only 34% of women.
Okay.
Wow.
And is like is there like a stat from 5, 10, 20 years ago to compare it to? Or?
Sure. So from 4 years ago,
Yep.
it was 51%. So it's
Oh,
gone up
Wow, that's a
quite
big
bit.
jump. Yeah, that's a big jump.
And is this in America or global?
This is in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh man, see, this shit's so scary. Because I just think it's like, okay, if you've got, what was that movie where that guy fell in love with his AI partner?
Oh, it was Anna de Armas, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That was me. That was me before I met
Her.
you.
Her. It
yes.
was called Her. Yeah, it's like, okay, so you pair that with
Yeah.
now VR porn where you
Well-
put your little goggles on and you can just like go do, like, okay, I think of like Lil Dicky taking his Fuck Me Silly 3 paired with like these VR goggles now. And it's like socially awkward guys who,
If you're not in tune with several things that are very, very relevant right now, what you just said.
The Fuck Me Silly 3.
It's like Lil Dicky when he's with his Fuck Me Silly 3 and I'm like, oh my God.
can you pull up a picture of the Fuck Me Silly
Yeah,
3?
we do need a picture of the Fuck Me Silly 3.
Yeah, in the show Dave,
I'm not
which
entirely
is
sure this
Lil
is going to be something
Dicky.
that actually makes the cut because that might get us completely demonetized. But yes, keep going.
Oh, will it not?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay. In the show Dave, Lil Dicky has a sex doll, which is wildly realistic that he spends thousands of dollars on, and it's called the Fuck Me Silly, and this is Model 3, so it's the Fuck Me Silly 3 is what it is.
And by the way, just out of curiosity, how do you feel about the Fuck Me Silly 3 branding? Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's so scary. So that's the Fuck Me Silly 3. And then in the new season, he actually has the full person with like a wig
Yeah.
and face and stuff. And it's fucking terrifying.
So, okay,
Terrifying.
but let's roll it back.
Okay.
Why do you think that number is increasing?
I think that,
Based off your well-founded research?
right, based off my research
yeah.
and the amount
A/B
of time that I
testing,
spend
surveying,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just think that dating is, because I've also seen TikToks where people, so I've seen TikTok where guys will go out onto the street and ask girls like, how much do you want your partner to be making
Yeah.
in salary wise?
Yeah.
And girls are saying a super high number. And
Yeah.
so like, I think single guys who hear stuff like that, they are scared to date, or they're socially awkward, or they
Yeah.
don't know how to approach just like the dating scene in general. Or, you know, there's so many reasons why it's daunting to go out there and start dating or go on dates. And so I think that paired with an alternative that is low stakes and low pressure and accessible, getting more and more accessible every single day. I think that like if a guy, I don't know, because I think, I'm sure there's a stat that goes along with this too, but like guys being in solitude, I'm sure is so much more prevalent than women, because I think that women a lot of the times conventionally lean into relationships of all different types, right? So it's like their friendships hold a lot of value, where like a lot of guys can live in solitude. And I mean, I've seen you do it over the last like 4 years, right? As we've dated, is that like you are so much more comfortable in solitude than I am. Like I love being social, and not that you don't, but like you're more comfortable in solitude.
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. You say that, but I feel like before we met, that would not have been something that anyone like would have said about me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't stay by myself all that often.
But like, if you feel like your social needs are being met through our relationship, and when we hang out with like other couples, and you don't seek other social outings with like friends or whatever,
Right.
I think that just like I think women tend to lean into like a lot of different types of relationships, whether they have, you know what I mean, friendships and romantic relationships.
Well, I also think that there's a level of and obviously this is different, but in my experience, it's been, I think, easier for guys and the guys that I worked with specifically to fuck around more at work and have more social fun
And feel fulfilled.
and feel. But even so, like, because I started my career, I feel like for the first 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I worked for a lot of women. Like my boss and their boss were women, and they were busy getting shit done and working hard and doing a lot of the things that you would assume that an executive would. And I feel like a lot of the dudes got a pass to fuck around a little bit more. And whether it's fair or not what I'm arguing. But I think that was like, oh, okay, that kind of itched like the social dopamine hit that we needed.
Right.
And we went home, we can kind of relax. And now I think with COVID and with also like just the internet, rightfully in a lot of ways saying like men ain't shit, I think a lot of it's just like the guys who hear that and go, maybe I'm not shit. Maybe I should wait to make more money. Maybe you know what? Great. I'll start dating when I've got these 3 things figured out.
Right.
And until then, I won't do it. And because I'm a horny 27-year-old, I'll just go look at porn when I want to feel fulfilled sexually. They get into this, like, I think, self-fulfilling prophecy.
100%.
And I think it's continuing to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good.
No,
Like,
I don't think so at all.
I think the narrative needs to be, some men aren't shit, and if you'd like to not be that person, you need to go prove it otherwise.
Yeah, right. I think also too, because like relationships are hard. Like they really are.
Yeah.
Like relationships are hard.
I mean, ours is perfect, but like,
obviously.
yeah, but everybody else is at home.
Relationships are hard and they're work and it's effort, and you have to actively foster like the health of a relationship.
Yeah.
And so it's like if someone isn't necessarily 100% committed to that, and they don't, you know, they don't think they're emotionally or financially ready for that, whatever the reason is, like I think like the standards are just getting higher and more men are electing to be single for whatever reason it is. And I don't know. I think I think people are choosing to stay single because it seems easier.
I think whether people are choosing to stay single or whether or people are fearful of defeat or embarrassment
For sure.
if they tried to do something about it.
Right. That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
low stakes, low pressure. It's
Yeah.
like if you are watching porn and jacking off, like there's you might feel embarrassed and shitty about yourself afterwards, but that's only within yourself and not in front of someone else.
Right. But also like
The fuck me silly is not going to chirp you after.
Right. But like I think like about myself, like growing up with a single mother who obviously had never been a dude, nor had she ever been a guy, or I guess like had any experience going and like making the first move to talk to a woman. But I remember her being pretty, I think, supportive of like the idea that eventually I'm gonna like girls, and when I do like girls, it's gonna be important for me to be a gentleman. And being a gentleman doesn't mean just like waiting for them to bring up the idea to go on a date, but it also means to like be cognizant of the way that you, it's like, there's a lot of layers to it.
There's so much social etiquette around it.
But it's like, I think if you rewind 100, 90, 80, 70 years, it was like the men are supposed to go up and say, hey, Cheryl, you look awful swell.
Yeah, may I court you?
Exactly. And like the women were supposed to sit there and wait, and men were supposed to make the first move, and women were supposed to respect the thing that was offered to them. And like that's obviously got its problems. But on the flip side, it's like when no one is supposed to make the first move, or anyone can make the first move.
Right.
And there's so many different levels of just like social ineptitude going on in the world. I think it makes it even harder. And what's funny is going back to my nerdy roots, my newest favorite YouTuber is this guy who's the self-proclaimed autistic millionaire. And he was an engineer at Windows back in like the 80s and 90s, working on literally Windows 95. And he's like, I didn't know I was autistic till I was like retired.
Oh my God.
He's like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
He's like, but I can tell you right now that
you should just download TikTok, because TikTok will tell you you're autistic every single day.
Well, he wrote the book, like talking about being an autistic millionaire now. And so like his whole entire thing is like talking about how he went through his career, and he'd get a phone call, and he was such a talented developer. He'd be able to talk to his boss and say, hey, I don't want to do phone calls. Like I don't want to do phone calls. I have a really hard time figuring out whether it's my turn to speak, whether it's their turn to speak.
Interesting.
Like things that, like
Yeah.
I don't struggle with.
Right.
As I say to Lauren often, you'll never have to wonder my
Jeremy feels.
perspective or how I'm feeling about a situation, because I'll tell you. And if there's a blank space, I'll probably fill it. And it's like that's not the case for everybody.
No, not
and
at all.
for that guy who says he is married and has kids now, in a world where today I feel like you have to be much more actively thinking about the way that you're saying things.
And navigating.
Yeah.
I think also too, because anyone can go viral on social media now. Like I think about the people, like the regular ass everyday people who make story times and humiliate like an ex or like a dating story or a date gone wrong. Like I think about how scary that would be to like have that looming over you and every date that you went on. Like that's also really scary as well too.
Right.
It's like I think there's so many factors that make everything about dating really daunting.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't leave me. I can't go back out there. Don't send me back out there, please.
That's not why I can't leave you. It's because you can't turn the TV on if I leave you.
That's also why I can't go back out there. It's because I can't turn any of the lights on.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out how to open the garage door.
Okay, but now, so those are some of the reasons why I'm afraid.
Yeah,
And I also just think that in general, the thought of like VR is very different than AR. Like virtual reality versus augmented reality. This is, I think, augmented reality. So it's like, it's not supposed to remove everything that's in front of you. It's supposed to put a layer on top of it. So it's like, as opposed to looking at a...
So you're saying that I'm going to put the goggles on, I can see you still and everything, and you can see my eyes, but I'm adding a layer of screens and stuff in between us that only I can see in the goggles.
Correct. Unless like we had a shared experience. I don't know what that looks like.
And you can
but
see
like,
inside my goggles too.
No, I'd be able to see you with like, let's say we're playing tennis.
Oh, I
right?
see, I
Like,
see, I
like
see.
Wii tennis version, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's interesting that they've wrapped it, they being Apple, in like productivity,
Right.
and like collaboration,
Right.
When productivity and collaboration would think it's like a social thing. It's like being able to do work with others easier,
Right.
Whereas I do think that the misuse and abuse of this will come from the person who does everything by themselves now.
Right.
Instead.
Yeah. It's going to continue to isolate me. Whether you're searching for the latest sneaker drop, that iconic handbag, a timeless watch, or your next piece of classic jewelry, eBay authenticators are there verifying every detail of your purchase. We're talking each inch, stitch, tick, facet, and clasp that make the piece you're searching for worthy of your collection. eBay's authenticators are experts in their craft, true connoisseurs, and as leaders in their fields, they're making sure your items always arrive as authentic as your style.
So go ahead, get the piece that you've always wanted and leave it up to the meticulous eye of an eBay authenticator to make sure that the watch movement is original, that glimmer is real gold, that rare sneaker is legit, or that handbag is really made of genuine leather. And never get faked over again. In a world full of fakes, it's time to get real with eBay Authenticity Guarantee. Everyone deserves real. Visit ebay.com for terms.
Not to throw us off course, but I just got an email from our dog park. See, this literally is an email protecting Moose, essentially. Moose, wherever we go, gets mounted. He has been neutered since he was 8 months old. And like, I don't know what it is. He's not a hump. Well,
it could be dogs are behind humans in their no means no quest.
And Moose is so submissive and chill that he just gets humped.
Right.
And so sometimes when we go to a dog park, and even though there's the referees who go around and like,
Can you say that one more time?
The referees.
Right.
RUFF.
Two
the
Fs?
referees. Yes, the referees are there to, like supervise.
Right.
Moose gets humped sometimes, and sometimes it'll be like one dog specifically. Every time we go, they gets fixated on Moose and is just fucking in love with him.
But like, have you
and
seen Moose?
obsessed. I know Moose is it.
He's fucking adorable.
Does he have like a special smelly butt?
Special pheromones?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got them special fairies.
Yeah, and they're always like, did he just get his anal glands squeezed? When you get to squeeze the juices out, it's gross.
Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, anyway.
I'm shocked that you didn't wait to bring this up until I was eating a steak.
They literally sent an email out to all the members saying that It is primarily a guest's responsibility to intervene if their dog is mounting or attempting to mount another dog. It's extremely important that guests are managing their dog's mounting behavior so the referees can focus on preventing the less easily avoidable misunderstandings between dogs. Should a guest ignore their dog's mounting behavior in the case that any guest's attention efforts towards preventing their dog's excessive mounting he deemed insufficient, the staff reserves the right to ask guests to leave the park with their dog and to take the rest of the day off from dog people. This is literally protecting Moose's butt. Oh my God. Wow. Moose, that was for you, XO, dog people.
I mean, honestly, it's about time.
It's about time. It's about time. Well, sometimes I spend the whole time ripping someone's dog off of poor Bubbies because he just is so chill.
It's a fuck fest.
Yeah. It's a fuck
and
fest.
It's a non-consensual fuck fest.
Yeah. And sometimes it'll be like.
I will say though, I say that, but Moose doesn't seem to mind.
He doesn't seem to mind.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that he would rather, like, if he had the choice between like getting humped or not getting humped.
Have you talked to him about it?
I mean, he just seems a little happier when he's not getting humped.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't
But he doesn't seem overly bothered.
I don't think we should assume. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, and so that's my wrap up on. Okay. Here's the other question then. Do you think that percentage of dudes who's electing to be single, do you think that same upward trajectory will happen for women as well?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think so. I think that, I mean, in my personal experience, it seems that women, and maybe this is just like the friends around me and the people that
No, I need you to speak for all women.
I know, I get so nervous that I make a statement that I don't want it to be a blanket statement. But I think that it seems as if the women that I know are looking for a partner. And you know what? Like,
what I'm hearing is LaurDIY believes all women need a partner in order to go through life?
No.
Okay, got it.
Quite what
okay, I'm just.
My palms are sweating.
We're asking your opinion.
No, but I think a lot of women enjoy having a partner. And what I am seeing though, again, thing on TikTok, where some women are even just like buying a house with their best friend because they've given up on men and finding like a romantic partner. And they're like, well, fuck, I'm just going to start my life and invest in a property with a best friend that like I've been friends with for 10 years.
Right.
And, you know, I guess you're not taking on any more risk than you would be if you bought a house with a romantic partner, you know.
It's all business.
It's all business and can be split up however you want if things go awry. Yeah. But a lot of women are looking for, I think, a partner.
Yeah. I mean, the salesman in me always like goes back to when I was selling people something new. When I was selling a woman, they wanted to know that they were making the right decision, that the decision made sense. And that when I was selling dudes, they wanted to make the decision that made them feel right.
Right.
And
yeah, that makes sense.
I think that trickles down into so many other caveman level type instincts we have.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the only thing. Like, it's the first time that I've seen like tech that I'm like a little nervous.
No, for sure.
And of course AI plays a big role. Don't get me wrong, but like I just see the goggles or the vision or the glasses being a like end user consumer facing product and use case that could make it arrive versus like, oh, there is an app that might change the way that we interact with things on our phone. Like, sure, that'll happen.
Right.
To me, this is just like a in the real world today, like product that will start to make people build up their social lives farther apart from other physical, like
from
people
other
physically.
Actually physically. Yeah, exactly. And not to say that there's not going to be incredible stuff. Like imagine you could practice surgeries in these goggles, like shit like that. Like technology obviously is so sick and also, so incredible, like in so many ways, but
the amount of doctors who are in Hong Kong, who are the world's most like biggest specialist
or whatever,
who can have a bird's eye view of a doctor who's good, but not as good as the other person. But like, it just is not like logistically possible for that doctor to be there that day and to be able to kind of like have that adjacency.
Yeah.
We don't even know how like impactful it'll be.
Right. So pros and cons. Feels a little Black Mirror to me, and overall, I am not willing to sacrifice my face full of makeup to smush goggles on my face to take on and off. So realistically, I'm probably not the end consumer. It's a no for me, dog.
Yeah, but what if you could scroll multiple TikToks at the same time?
That's too much. It's overstimulating.
You say that now.
It's overstimulating.
I think our kids in the future are going to be like, we thought like multitasking was a thing, and they'll be like, oh, I'm in the physical world, the virtual world of this world. I've got my clone doing this, my AI assistant person.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
I actually had a conversation with my manager today because there's an event tomorrow in far from us at like 4 p.m. And so like in peak LA traffic, what would, if there was no traffic, would take you like 30 minutes will probably take me about 90 tomorrow. So I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm weighing like, do I actually want to go? It's like kind of important, so I should go. But like it's a time commitment and just like the actual travel. And my manager like, just send your AI. Just send your AI there. Just send and
Send Diggy.
so Diggy.
Can you imagine like Diggy with like a GoPro on his forehead?
That would be so
Like, hey guys, can you hear me?
that'd be so
It's me.
nice.
Speaking of nerds, my nerdy Instagram content the last couple weeks has, without question, earned me at a minimum of 1, if not 2 new best friends.
I love that for you. Jeremy's currently blocked off my Instagram right now because I posted a whole bunch of wedding dress try-on stuff. None of them, again, are the dressed, but overall, we've decided that Jeremy's just gonna.
I'm blocked, so now
You're blocked.
I
You're
just find
blocked.
new friends.
Yeah.
Diggy, what is
Jeremy,
this?
where are you going? Where are you going?
Do you come here?
And go see your dad?
Diggy, come here.
Okay,
Come here.
Yeah,
your
Diggo.
favorite parent.
Well, okay. Diggo.
Yeah. But yeah, so I posted some nerdy shit, and
Made
my
a new friend.
new favorite thing is I'll post some nerdy shit, and it'll get however many views and like sarcastic responses, and then I'll get a half dozen. Hey, my fiance told me that she watches a podcast that I guess like you do, and that you have some like tech questions. I'll probably be able to answer them.
The way that Jeremy has made a new friend via this method and has not texted any of his like, I don't want to say like IRL like OG
Yeah,
friends.
what am I
back.
saying? Give me those goggles so me and my new boy,
Your new friend can talk about your nerdy shit. I'm not kidding. You posted that story being like, hey, if anyone knows how to. I was like, this is not a story for me, and I skipped right past it.
Yeah, listen, I'm trying to, I think actively shed followers that don't know the real me,
Right.
which is a lot of
He looks so cute right now. It's out of control.
nerdy shit. And I got to be honest, I'm not looking back.
I want to make one more extra point on the women looking for partners. I wonder if
I thought you said it was women need a partner. They're not able to navigate life on their
will
own.
literally slaughter
I believe
you.
that was the quote.
I will invoke violence on you. I wonder if because there's also like a big boost in smut consumption of books and partners and romantic lovers. Like, I wonder if that also has to do with it because like it's gotten so popular and obviously like that creates a fantasy type of relationship.
I don't think so.
You don't think it's any connection?
I think all of the dopamine stuff that requires minimal effort is the leading factor for guys, like the convenience factor. Like when you can get that dopamine hit from just like something that's super convenient, a couple clicks, I think it's very different than like, oh, I can't wait for this story to come out, or I can't wait for this author who's writing a second part of a story that I already like. Then like you then have to go like listen to or go read, right?
But I'm just saying if women are consuming,
covered in hair.
I know, me too. I'm just absolutely covered in D fur. If women are consuming more stories about these like ideal fantasy relationships, like I wonder if it's
it's illuminating that their men ain't shit.
that one, men ain't shit, or that they do want a relationship, or they deserve better, they want something else, or just like overall like inviting the idea of more relationships.
I think the same could be said for every Disney show that we watched as a kid.
That's true, yeah,
like,
that's true.
Prince Charming somehow finds a way to literally defeat every bad guy, somehow lives in a castle, looks like his clothes just fell to the dry cleaner every day. Like we've been fed like the perfect
fairy
version of like the heterosexual couple finding each other.
Yeah.
Since I was born.
Yeah, no, you're so right.
Yeah.
I almost entirely spoiled and revealed and leaked my wedding dress to Jeremy the other day. Caught it on camera too, live. I didn't even think about it.
Okay,
Genuine, like no brain cells.
We gotta run it back.
Okay.
We gotta run it back.
Go ahead.
For context, gentlemen, 9 of you, maybe 10 now, step into my office real quick. When you're starting out dating someone who, I guess I can only like kind of compare it to, it'd be like you're driving to the grocery store. And remember the 90s movies trailers?
Where is this going?
Let me get there. You know, like the 90s movies trailers, like, there was always a narration.
Yeah.
So it was like, you had the visuals, right?
Like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. And it's like, in a world where.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really get the visuals. I just get me passively existing next to you. And you then narrate with a camera 3 inches away from your nose, either a story that's going on right now or one that we just went through or one that we're about to. And so like, I've gotten pretty good at just like tuning that out.
Right. Vlogging.
But like when it comes to like our wedding and you're screaming into the mic, 3 inches from your face in the room right next to me. And it's like information that I should not hear. I'm like, how the fuck do I need to like abort out of this room immediately. And sometimes I can't. And the amount of times it's been like, okay, so I went to, and like half it's like, I'm not supposed to hear this. Like, I'm like, I
It's
can't.
okay for you to hear it.
No, I don't want to though.
Okay.
I want it to be surprised.
Okay.
So for everyone who's still following, Lauren, who's narrating your life via vlog, is now narrating things that are supposed to be somewhat of a surprise to me. And I'm having to like yeet myself out of the house at a given, drop of a hat here just to like not be spoiling surprise of things this far in advance.
If I would say you were entirely correct if I already had a dress. But
Right.
I was describing
Mermaid. You want a mermaid dress
I was saying
With
that
a
we
train.
should see Little Mermaid.
with a train. Thomas the Train was there too.
Thomas the Train was there too. Exactly. I was explaining after trying on a variety of dresses.
A variety of handful.
After trying on a variety of dresses, what I
Full varietal?
was looking for.
Okay. So you've landed on it.
I've landed on it. Yeah.
And it's a mermaid with a train.
It's a mermaid with a Thomas the Train.
Lauren!
But it's a Little Mermaid
Thomas was there too?
with Thomas the Train.
Well, speaking of Thomas, but not Thomas, Jake Thomas.
Yeah.
Lauren like jokingly invited Jake Thomas, her friend, who everyone else knows is Lizzie McGuire's little brother,
Matt McGuire, yeah.
who has become a fucking like savant when it comes to like film cameras. And so you now have the best
I know.
behind the scenes
Photos.
footage
I know.
of these like,
I know.
it's like, how do you convince him to continue coming with you though?
Oh no, I was like, Jake, I will be sending you a calendar invite to my next wedding appointment because the photos were incredible and I need you to be there again to replicate what you did for the last appointment. He was a last minute addition, and in the vlog,
Those are always the best.
I literally was like, and I also just want to acknowledge that yes, Matt McGuire is here, and that is the most random thing that could possibly happen. But here we are.
Matt
and
McGuire.
Because everyone was like, that guy looks like Matt McGuire. You know what I mean? If they don't know him as Jake Thomas.
Right.
And so I had to just be super upfront, just be like, yes, Matt McGuire is here today trying on wedding dresses with us. So yeah, Jake was there, and I feel good about the process, and we're about to save the dates, and it's all happening.
What else do we do?
What else do we do? What?
We sent the deposit.
Oh yeah, I put the down payment on the venue.
Why is that sad? That's exciting.
Because it was a big check.
It was exciting.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And now like the deposit is non-refundable. So like now it's like actually happening.
I've done this before.
And you still didn't get the money back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've done this before.
Right. But that doesn't mean we're getting married.
Okay, yes, but I still don't get the money back.
Right. But this one came out of your check, so like all good. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not too worried about
so
it.
I still will not get the refund if something were to happen.
Right. Like for you.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Save the dates.
Are going out soon.
Are going out soon.
Do you have all my friends' addresses?
Yep.
Great.
I have collected all of them.
Great.
by
I love
myself.
that.
It's
That's
been
good.
great.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Listen,
so nice.
we are getting married. I did the proposal. You're doing the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is great. Honestly, like this is ideal.
Well, yeah. And, the decisions that are, I think, important. Honestly, the venue happening as quickly as it did, insane.
You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how to, one, everything's so expensive and everything's so difficult. And, everyone who's, planned a wedding and is planning a wedding, knows, prices are going up.
Yeah.
The
Availability goes quick.
availability goes quick, but also, all of the desirable things, all the things everybody wants.
Yeah.
Everybody wants.
Yeah.
So it's, the fact that we found one that we both agreed on, loving.
I also didn't even want us to tour anything that was out of our budget. Like I didn't want to dangle a carrot in front of us that was going to be unattainable. So I didn't
Because
even
we
want.
like carrots.
I love carrots.
We love carrots.
D loves carrots.
Big carrot fans.
Big carrot fan. And
Yeah.
so I didn't even want to see anything that was out of the budget. So
Right.
a few that are so stunning and probably because they are on the more expensive side.
Not better than what we got.
are-
Not better.
Not
Ours
better.
is the best.
Oh, obviously
This
the
is,
best.
This is the favorite. This is my
best.
favorite wedding venue that I've ever had.
It's also that's so nice.
Yeah, by hands down.
It's also so funny because we're just in LA. How many things have been filmed at the wedding venue?
Right.
So there was a girl from Vanderpump Rules in 2014 or something that got married there. Escape the Night season 4 or something filmed a couple scenes there. A
will
movie
say-
with Brad Pitt was filmed there.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Brad coming, by the way?
I don't know. Is he on your side of the invite list?
Yeah, he'll be on mine, yeah.
I think Babylon is maybe on there.
Got it. I will say, New Girl, I believe it was Schmidt and Cece's wedding, was filmed at my last venue.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I think.
That's fun.
I think. So that's a big plus.
We don't have that, but
But
that's
we do
okay.
have Brad Pitt.
We do have Brad Pitt.
And you look great in the Little Mermaid outfit.
My Little Mermaid outfit.
Yeah, with Thomas the Train.
And my seashell boobies.
Seashell boobies?
Imagine.
I can't wait to helicopter in. Anyway, are you excited?
I'm so excited.
And then like you're doing what, more dress stuff?
I'm doing more dress stuff. My parents are coming to visit in a few weeks, so that's when I'm having my last, hopefully, and final appointment of dress shopping to work on something custom.
Yep. Excited?
And yeah, I'm so excited.
I'd be so nervous about that.
I'm nervous, but I feel well prepped. I feel like I've done my homework.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm at the point where if I were to keep trying on more dresses, I would like lose myself and
Diminishing
get
returns.
even. Yeah, exactly. I would get so confused and like too far into it. But I feel like I'm at the exact moment right now where I've tried on the perfect amount of variety,
Okay.
and I feel good.
I can't wait.
We also have the hotline. The hotline is open and the hotline is thriving.
What is the
I feel
hotline?
like the Wild Til hotline, I feel like is doing great.
But what is the hotline?
The hotline is the hotline that you can submit your audio.
What's the email address, damn it?
Oh, fuck. I have no idea.
Okay, the email address is going to come up on screen. And if you're listening to this, it's Shoshana.
WT9hotline@gmail.com.
And is that the number or is it spelled out 9?
That is the number.
So it is WT number 9 hotline at gmail.com. Big budget.
But so yeah, now that people I feel like have figured out the hotline has been thriving.
Yeah.
And so we've been stacking up the best of the best to take hotline calls.
I often feel like when we have guests here, we're leaving the hotline. Diggo.
Bye, Diggo. Diggo, where go?
Go. I feel like we're leaving the hotline high and dry.
No, I know. I do feel bad for the hotline, but I think we've got the opportunity now to open up the hotline.
Let's do it.
All right, caller number 1.
Hi, Lauren, TSJ, and Latvia. First off, I just want to say thank you to you both for the 3 years of podcasts that you've given us. From Segu to your heartbreaking DUI story, Jeremy. Honestly, you guys are the highlight of my week. I love your podcast. Unfortunately, what I have to ask you about is not so much for a highlight.
That's okay.
My girlfriend and I have been dating for 10 months now, and it's been incredible. We've liked each other for coming up on 5 years, and it's been like one of those slow burn enemies, friends to lovers from TV. But we're headed off to university soon, and I want us to both have the chance to branch out and to be fully present where we are. We're going to schools on opposite sides of the country.
Oh no.
And I'm definitely one of those people that needs somebody to be there in person. I really struggle. I'm not very good at texting and like digital side of things. And so I want to be able to end on good terms before we get hurt or things go wrong. But this is this is my first relationship. And, you know, there's a lot of history and a lot of friendship, and I want it to end on good terms. But I guess I'd really love your advice on breakups and like straight down to nitty gritty details of locations, timings, like how much time, wording, honestly, anything that you can kind of provide tips on would be incredible. Because
It's heartbreaking.
I know.
I'm really nervous, and she means a lot to me, but it's also important to me, and I know it's the right decision. This is also a tangent, but Lauren, have you ever considered whether you have dyslexia, the 3D imaging that you can imagine in your mind, as well as the kind of struggling to pronounce things and idioms? It's a common trait. I have dyslexia too, so when I hear you talking about it, I'm like, I sense a common spirit. Anyways, I'm sorry this is very long, but any advice for breakups would be honestly incredible. And thank you.
The way that came out of left field. Oh my god.
This is the new segment of the podcast. Diagnosing Lauren.
Oh my god. I know I've never considered if I may have dyslexia.
She's considering it now.
But oh my God. Oh God. Oh.
Man. Woo.
That really threw me.
Wasn't ready for that one. That was a curveball.
Oh my God.
So we'll circle back on the dyslexia thing.
Yeah, so we circle back on dyslexia because I let's put a pin on that because I do want to circle back on that
I'm not ready to rule it out.
No, me either. Me either. Oh my God. Okay.
Whoa.
So holy shit. Oh, I love the hotline. This is why like that wouldn't translate well. It wouldn't like reading that in an email is just not the same as
it would have sounded, but also
like an eloquent British girl asking you if you might be dyslexic. Like that just doesn't hit the same over text.
If whenever I need to like look inward, I could have her ask me the question in her accent. That would be ideal.
Oh my God. Oh, that was so funny.
Well, the second part,
got tears in my eyes.
the first part was tough.
That first part was really heartbreaking.
When your voice started to break, I almost broke for you.
Oh my God, no, that was so. The one thing that I do feel really good about is how confident in the decision that she feels. Like it seems like she really has a deep and like an in-depth understanding of like needing someone to be there physical, understanding that like she's ready to move on to the next chapter of her life, and unfortunately that doesn't include their partner. Which is really sad and heartbreaking. But like, I think making the decision of whether that's what you want is like one of the hardest parts. And it sounds like that's already been like checked off the list.
Well, I think it's like, and this is a perfect example of like easier said than done. But it's like in a world where even the breakup went poorly, which is what you're trying to avoid.
Yeah.
You're like the happiest people tend to be able to at least compartmentalize and never regret something that used to bring you joy. And I think that's a difficult thing with breakups. And obviously you want this to end well, but like even in a world where it doesn't go perfectly and it won't go as you think it is. And if it does, great, you know, there's the off chance for that. But it's like, it's brought you a lot of joy, even if you've only been together for, I think it was 10 months.
10 months.
And they've known each other for 5 years and they kind of like built up to this. Like, that's amazing. I think the biggest mistake, and you're so much more mature than me and probably you at the time, is knowing before you're even going to school that you should not try and like
make this happen.
Make this work in a new environment that you have no idea what it's going to be like to be in.
Right.
I certainly didn't have that maturity at 18.
Oh my God, no, 100% me either. No,
Yeah.
me either.
What do you think?
I mean, I think it's hard. I think coming in it from the perspective that like you love this person so much and are already putting so much thought into being mindful on how to execute this, I think is already putting you in a good place that the breakup is going to come from a place of love. Yeah. I know that sounds like almost like ironic of a breakup coming from a place of love, but I mean, it really is because you want the best for both of you. And it's not to say that like maybe your paths won't, you know, cross again, but just like right now, if it doesn't make sense. And at the end of the day, it's like she's doing what's best for her. And it's going to be hard and it's going to be so painful. And like, I think that there's no avoiding that. Like there's literally no way to, especially that's like one of the hardest breakups when there's nothing wrong. Like when no one did something wrong, because it's so much easier to be angry at someone and break up with them than to just be sad and break up with someone or like be heartbroken and break up with someone. Like that is the hands down hardest thing ever when nothing happened because it feels like you're hurting that person and they don't deserve it. Like that's like the core of like what has made me feel awful in the past when I break up with someone who hasn't done something wrong.
Right.
And that's just like the hardest part. But I think just being entirely honest about
it's nothing you did, it's who you are.
Well, no, it sucks because it's like it's not you, it's me, and it's what I want. Like at the core, like that's what it is, but it's so hard to
But it's also it's less like it's not you, it's me. It's also like it's not you, it's who I want to be. Or it's what I know I'm going to need, right? It's even beyond that. It's like, it's not even a you or me thing. It's like, it's situational. But beyond that, I think the other side that like is very easy to fall into, and I fucked this up at least once, is ending on such good terms, but also trying to continue some level of friendship or intimacy that then gets you in this habit of like sharing what you're doing once you get to that new place with somebody.
Right.
Who, even though you're not together anymore.
But if they were friends first, I don't know, the dynamic might be a little bit different. So I wouldn't say that that's off the table for her.
No,
like, when
but
that
I'm saying like
happens.
in a world where you meet somebody new,
Yeah. Oh,
And,
then,
like,
then it's hard.
The person you used to share everything with,
Yes.
you have to choose to
Then-
withhold that information from or share that with.
Yeah.
Knowing that both sides can lead you to, I think, an even worse place than just calling it off and being like, hey, like, we need to kind of like set ground rules, or even just like, hey, do you want to know or do you not want to know, or even just like having that conversation. Because like the amount of times that I thought we ended really cordially, we're still friends, we talk about everything else, why wouldn't this still be fair game? But that person does not want to hear about that.
No.
It's a very, very, but on the other side of it, you didn't want me to not tell you? And I think it's a little bit of best of both worlds there.
I've never been someone who's able to be friends with exes afterwards. Like, and like share things like that. Like, that's just personally never worked for me.
Yeah.
But okay, so she wants specifics though on timing, location, all the details, anything we can possibly give. So I think
it's a great time to wish you a happy Pride Month.
True. I think location wise though, somewhere where you are super comfortable and able to have conversations in private. So whether that be one of your houses that you're comfortable at, but someplace that you don't have any like outside influences in terms of like distractions or disruptions or like being in public, et cetera, like stuff like that. Like that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I think someone that you're entirely comfortable, and I think timing wise, like that's tough because it's like, again, nothing's gone wrong and you love this person so much. So it's like, do you do it the day before you leave, or do you do it ASAP so you're not wasting their time? But like, you're not wasting your time because you're having a good time and you're still in love. So it's like, it's hard.
I think being able to have enough time after you've had the conversation to be able to get out any of the words or things that you wish you would remember to say before leaving is important. And not to say that like you want it to linger on, but unless you are the most composed, well thought out, certainly better at presenting information that both of us are combined, you're going to wish, like, you know, that shower thought the next day, at least for me, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I say that? Like, I thought about that so much. Like, being able to share that before you're like in the new location, I think is important.
I think so too. I think also because she's had lots of time to think about this, like obviously her partner will have had zero time to think about it. Maybe they're also considering, you know, wanting to break up before they leave.
Right.
But like, I think giving that person at least a month to have the option to have in-person closure as well too would be very gracious.
That word is the thing I think we need to like figure out how to shift from a breakup to closure and like closing the chapter.
Closing the chapter.
Because like if it feels like a breakup, hey, we just need to end this. It's yes, you are ending this, but more importantly, it's how do we create space and room for the next chapter to exist without hurting this one? And as far as
I think it takes time.
What do you mean time?
Like I think that like when I think of chapters closing, and maybe my chapters are just a little more messy sometimes, but I think about like for a chapter to feel like it has like tidy closure, I think sometimes does need time because like just say this breakup happens and how it unfolds is that her partner is really, really upset. You know what I mean? Like it can take time for that person to maybe feel like the closure actually kind of comes around and closes the chapter. So I don't know. I think it's tough. I think also too, like we don't know the dynamics of like their friendship and if they'll want to continue having any kind of friendship afterwards and still being a support system, especially if they're both going into, you know, super new atmospheres that they might, you know, need support through. So it's hard to say, but I think giving the partner as much time to process and be able to continue to have the conversation with the partner in person. I don't know, at least a month before they have to leave.
A month seems a little bit long. I think like 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, like 2 weeks would be great. 2 weeks.
I think longer than that.
Like 2 weeks.
I think if so much stuff is changing on top of breaking up, that's a lot to process all at once.
But like, okay, hard to say. Maybe you need longer than that. But I also think that it's important to remember that you cannot control or dictate the way that the other person responds or grieves. You can control and dictate the way that you present the information.
Yeah.
And so although it's very easy to get caught up in the what ifs of how someone responds to anything, it is a much more efficient use of your time to figure out, okay, at the end of this conversation, what are the things I want to have said? How do I want to say them?
Right.
Which is pretty much everything you just like gave to us.
Yeah.
And also making sure you don't do the thing that feels natural, which is try and say all the things that you want for them and how you're thinking about them, and you're doing this in your you want.
Oh yeah, don't make sure. Yeah, it's got to be about you and not about them.
Which is hard because I feel like we're always like, and like I don't want that for you either, and like but allow them to be in control of what they're willing to sacrifice for you.
Agreed.
Because like I know I've fallen victim to that. I think we've all
because that would piss me off. I'd be like, don't tell me what the fuck I want.
Yeah, don't tell me what I'm gonna be.
Don't tell me what I need. Don't tell me what's gonna make me happy. Yeah, exactly.
And so I think almost like doing the upfront of like, I'm gonna tell you selfishly where my head is at, what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to make sure that you hear from me, and then I love to hear what you're thinking to all that versus I'm going to be the bigger person and be more proactive ahead of this to like set us both up for success.
Yeah.
That's
not
for
going to go
me
over
personally,
well.
and maybe that'll be great for somebody else. For us, I know that is like a one-way ticket.
Off. Yeah,
to
that
like,
would make me so mad.
So you want to tell me how I'm going to be happy? Okay. Oh, and by the way, you're also breaking up with me? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. We need follow-ups.
I know we need follow-ups.
But also, I agree with you. As far as like timing and location's concerned, there's a time and a place for everything. And there's more importantly, a bad time and a bad place for everything. And I do think that like making it somewhere where you know that you feel safe so that you can say what you need to say, but also understanding that they are going to need to be able to have a bathroom, have a place to leave, have like their own exit strategy as well. So like they feel like they're in control.
I think actually if there's an option, like territory that feels safer for your partner rather than her would probably be also very nice.
But also safe enough where that you feel like you can say what you need to say.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like you are, not to make it like an against each other thing, but like she's the one who's going to be like the partner who's getting broken up with. Like she's the one who's getting an emotional surprise.
Right. And also like everyone's brain goes fight or flight. So it's like if you don't want them to fight, put them in a position where they're not going to think that like they're in a corner and they have to fight their way out of it. Yeah. So congrats for having more
Emotional maturity
at the age of whatever you are than I certainly did. So congrats for that. You got this. You will.
So am I dyslexic? I don't think so.
I think it's a potential on the laundry list of things that are ailments that you have, or differently abled gifts.
I think I wanna Google the textbook definition of dyslexia because I don't have issues with letters and numbers jumbling, and to my understanding, that's what I thought it was.
Comment below if you too think Lauren is dyslexic.
I would just like to say there are some psychiatrists, psychologists on TikTok who we can reach out to come on the podcast and maybe diagnose Lauren.
I love this idea.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Yeah, we should for sure
Dr. Mike,
do that.
where you at, buddy?
I know, we should for sure do that. Okay, usually self-diagnosable. Symptoms include late talking, learning new words slowly, and a delay in learning to read. I'm a really, really good reader. I feel like that's like one of the first symptoms of dyslexia is like slow at learning how to read and being a slow reader and like not being able to read out loud. I'm a pretty strong reader. Which I do want to say, I'm reading a new book right now that I feel as if every single person in the world has read except for me, which is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I'm on chapter 12 so far. I thought this was a fucking smut book and I was about to get smut from 7 different husbands. It's not. Everyone has sent photos of themselves sobbing. And so I'm curious to see how it ends.
You thought you were going to get smut from seven different husbands.
That's what I thought.
Hose?
Yeah.
Husbands?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Husbands, exactly.
And you didn't?
And no, I think it's an emotional drama novel.
Bummer.
So anyways, I'm on chapter 12 now, but I'll give updates as I continue to read.
Okay.
But yeah, the amount of people I posted on my story and the amount of people that replied saying it's like the best book they've ever read. It's their #1 recommendation. But then on the flip side, because like taste in literature is so all over the place, my mom said she couldn't finish it.
Really?
Yeah. But I've read half a book from this author before called Malibu Rising, and it was really, really slow and I couldn't get through it.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see if this one is the same.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't think I'm dyslexic, but thank you so much for the diagnosis and I will take it into consideration.
In your next appointment with somebody.
Okay,
got it.
Yeah.
Call number 2.
Hi, Lauren and fiance Jeremy.
Hi.
I love you guys so much and I love the podcast so much. And I just wanted your insight on this big life thing that I have going on. So basically, I'm 23. I moved out of state to go to college when I was 18. Didn't keep a lot of my high school friends. And then a year and a half ago, I moved back home full time after my mom passed away to take care of my 15-year-old brother who I have full custody of.
Okay.
Basically, that's really sad, and we're not going to get too much into it because I don't want to ruin the mood. But my question is, I don't have a big social circle at home, but I want one, and I also want to go back into dating because I have FOMO from my friends that are dating. But I don't know how to bring up this big life event and, you know, all of the pieces that follow it without it totally just ruining and obliterating the vibes of the date that I'm on. Because it is a really important aspect of my life.
For sure.
And I have been on dates, and I didn't tell the people that I'm on dates with that this is happening. But then it gets awkward, and like date 3 or 4, and they're asking like, if we do something casual, can you host at your place? Do you live in your hometown that you grew up in? Do you live close to your parents? Like, those questions come up, and I don't know how to answer. And I don't know how to like tell them this thing without it like being too sad and like a big conversation, but I want it to be a little serious. And also it's a big thing that's happening in my life. So yeah, I don't know how to go about this. If you guys have any ideas, any thoughts, I would really appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Love her.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. We could have used a diagnosis for Lauren, but we'll get back to that later.
Yeah, if everyone wants to just give me a diagnosis alongside their question, it's like a 1-for-1 trade, you know?
Yeah, and you could diagnose me too.
Yeah, I personally, I would be in favor, and I think that this will get easier the more you do it and the more that you go on dates and have first dates, is finding a way to weave it in the conversation on the very first date and just being upfront about it.
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, if that is something that makes someone not interested in continuing to hang out, whether it be a friend or a potential romantic partner, I think if that's something that they are not able to accept as a part of you, you know, hearing that it's such a big part of your life, obviously that's a huge, you know, thing that you've taken on. And it is part of who you are and everything in your life. If they're not able to accept that and be interested in, you know, not only supporting you with it and being potentially a part of it, you know, and maybe even if it's just in a small, you know, way, but it's a huge part of you. And I think being upfront about that is important.
You don't have leprosy, period. Like your news to share is not something that when you share it, now the person that you're sitting across from has to run away from you before they're infected, right? Like don't, of course, this is sad. You want to take it seriously and you are trying to find a way to share it, but it's like, do not view this
as like a bomb. It's not like a time bomb that's going to blow up the vibes. I think also too, like if you're casual about it and, you know, the exact way that you described it to us, I think is such a great way that didn't make us uncomfortable. It's more just, you know, gave context to who you are.
When I was dating after being engaged at 26, it was only weird because I knew to myself, if I was 10 years older, half the guys would have already been engaged or married,
divorced,
or had a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But for my age, and you're 23, I was 26 at the time, it felt like a larger hill to climb.
Me?
No, when I was coming up being engaged.
I was like, hang on. It's like this math isn't mathing of our relationship.
But like, you know, like when you're like shooting the shit on your first date.
Yeah.
Like the things that you can share at that time are the least preconceived notions.
Right. I think it's actually harder to bring it up on the third date than the first date. Yeah.
And now I understand that like you're not going to know how to do this until you do it. But you are stepping in and filling a void that some men are also going to see as a huge character, like positive.
Yeah, I agreed.
There's very few guys out there who I think you sound like you're going to want to be spending your time with that would hear that piece of information, not say anything about it, but actually judge you for it and then stick around, right?
Yeah.
Like you almost want these men or the guys you're going on these dates with to show their true colors sooner than later.
For sure.
So you
Save
don't
your
waste
time.
your time or theirs.
Totally.
And like your little brother who you have full custody of at 15 is not a screaming 2-year-old.
I was just going to say that. I was like, I'm sure the 15-year-old brother, I mean, obviously
I'm
we
sure
don't
he does
know.
annoying things.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm sure. But, he's
He's a couple years away from probably being able
College.
to do all those things that you're doing by himself. It's not like you're 23. It's an 8-year difference. You know what it's like to be 15. He doesn't know what it's like to be 23, but it's like, even if he's an immature 15-year-old, and obviously he's probably gone through quite a lot of shit in the last couple of years with the obvious, I just think that you being able to be honest with the people that are coming in and out of your life will only benefit everything you're trying to prioritize already.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of a separate question in terms of making friends, but what I've seen and have heard from people, especially, and it's hard to say, like if you're in a bigger city or if you're in more of like a rural, whoa. Oh my God, am I dyslexic? Oh no, oh my God.
I think maybe that's part of the problem.
Depending on how big your town is or your city is, wherever you are, I've seen so many just like girl groups getting together of people who have, because so many people relocate, or move back home, or people move around so much, like especially in their 20s, that there are always people looking for friends. So I think between apps like Bumble, BFF, even, I know so many people who have made friends, or even if it just introduces you to a new friend group or gets you to try something new, I think is not a waste of time. I've seen so many like walking groups of girls who just like pick an hour on an evening.
Is it the hot girl walk?
Yeah, hot girl walk groups.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
I've seen. Or like, I've also seen like groups of specific hobbies that are like, we're doing paint night.
Find your niche.
Find your niche. Yeah, there's so many people that are also looking for friends that it's just finding the platforms and the spaces of where those people are also looking, because there are so many people that are also looking for friends.
By the way, if you end up doing the dating app thing or are creating profiles almost as like the billboard for yourself, you don't need to put down all these details on your profile. You don't feel the need to like.
I don't think it needs to be on the dating profile.
I think there's a level of like information that is important for you to share and be present earlier than later. But that doesn't mean you need the other person to know how to process that info adjacent to all the other options in the world that don't have that. Because I don't think it's all that helpful. Like to me, the thought of going on a date with somebody, if I was younger, who was filling the role that you're fulfilling, would not be scary. But I also don't think it would help make the decision as to whether or not I wanted to do that before going on the date. So it's like, that's up to you whether or not you want to put that on like the public facing thing that everyone could judge.
I don't think that has to be on the public facing.
I feel strongly it doesn't have to be on there. If you want to put it on there, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's yours. But at the same time, it's like, I don't think that you're giving yourself and what you're doing enough like positive credit.
Right.
Because I see a lot more of a, to me, signal of your character in the right bucket than I do the wrong bucket.
Totally. No, me too. Like, I think that that's something to be so proud of. Like, and don't treat it as if, and I'm sure that she doesn't treat it, but I understand that it could be a fear socially when you are adding that into the dynamic of meeting a new person.
And I also think the other key important thing is when you do find the courage to share for the first time, allow the space of the conversation to let somebody else ask questions about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to then go on to prove what it is that you're doing and that you know what you've got it all figured out and that you're a great mom for this brother that's been, in your life. Like, I feel like there's so much pressure around, not only is this going on, but like, here's all the things that I'm like doing and having to talk about it. And like, maybe it's just simply surfacing the information and moving on, or maybe there are some questions, but like, don't feel bad if they're asking you questions about this that like are also on the edge of your comfort zone.
Yeah. But again, I think it'll get easier the more times.
And also being able to say, yeah, I don't know how we're going to work on that. I don't know what that's like yet.
Right.
Like, we're still figuring it out. All okay.
Caller number 3.
Hello, Lauren and fiance Jeremy. First off, love the pod. I've been here since like literally day one of the pod.
Let's go.
But also because I have been watching Lauren since I was like 16 years old and I am 23 now. I just turned 23 this month. But also Lauren, more screaming, not less screaming. Fuck them haters. Anyways. Let's get into the story. Essentially, this is about a friend and her boyfriend. So I have this friend, let's call her Abigail. We've been friends since 7th grade, and we have been childhood friends. We've had our fizzle out moments here and there, always gone back together, and like we're basically treat it like we're sisters. Our families love each other and everything. Like, we're very involved. And she's been with this boyfriend for about 4 years now. And the first couple of years that they were together, I didn't hear a whole lot about him. And also this friend had gone to the military for a short period of time. So I just didn't know much about him for a while. But now they're coming up on 4 years. And I found out this man has never taken her out to, like, celebrate her birthday. They never, like, celebrate Valentine's Day properly. Anytime they have date nights, it seems like he's always canceling, to the point that, like, they're always home, and it feels more like my friend Abigail is, like, a mom to him versus, like, a girlfriend. And I hate to see that she gets treated this way and that she has been. And every time she comes to me about a complaint, I'm like, dump him, leave him, you should not be together with him. And then immediately she starts defending him.
Right.
Or even if I don't go, like, that far as to say, like, dump him, I'm just like, Abigail, like, this is not okay. Like, you realize this is not okay, right? Like, you should not be treated like this. You deserve so much better. But she's just used to being treated like this, I guess, and thinks that this is a normal way to be treated. And I'm like, no. And she uses the excuse also that they've been in a long-term relationship, and none of her friends who have been as long-term in a relationship can relate to her and have shit to say. So, like, I've been in my relationship for a year and a half, but I don't have shit to say until I've been in my relationship for 4 years, essentially, is what she has told me. And then, like, always goes to bat for him and says, oh, it's just childhood trauma. And, like, does not, like, bitch, go to therapy. Tell his ass to go to therapy or dump his ass. And for a while, she literally did consider it, but then she stays with him. And even yesterday, it was to a point where she was saying that he's hiding, like, finance-related stuff with her involving their rent. And how do I be a supportive friend? Because she literally told me it felt like I was attacking her boyfriend. How do I be a supportive friend and just keep my mouth shut about her boyfriend and not say, like, dump him and hit him with your car? Because that's where I'm at. That's where I've been at. But she doesn't want to hear it from me anymore. So do I just shut my mouth and just wait for the wedding to happen anyways and just let her make the decision when she needs to? How do I go about it? Because, like, she is a childhood friend of mine. I care about her. I so badly want to be the friend to beat it in her head. Like, no, this is not okay. You deserve so much better. How do I navigate this? Like, how? Please, give me all the advice, please.
Fucking shit. Oh, God.
These are tough.
I mean, listen, I think that...
You hit him with your car.
I think that
Next.
We hit him with our car.
Yeah. These are hard.
It's a Tesla. It was Elon.
What do you think?
I mean, I think that she has done everything that is kind of appropriate from a friend perspective to provide support and try and show her the light that she deserves better. But, like, the thing is that girls are going to fucking do what they want to do in terms of, like no girl is going to leave especially their long-term partner until they're 110% ready. And even if they're 100%, they might go back one more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just so hard. Like, the only person that can convince themselves to finally leave someone is themselves. Yeah. And it's so hard. Like, there's just no amount of, like, pro and con list, of Venn diagram, of bar chart that you can make that is going to make that person see the light. And it's just a matter of time. So I think, like, the best thing that you can do is be supportive when she reaches out for help. And, you know, remind her in a gentle way that there are so many people that there are other people out there, that she deserves better, that this isn't normal. But while not also making her feel, I don't know, it's hard because, like, in my mind, like, you want to make her feel bad to the point that she's like, oh, wait, I am being made to feel bad right now by my boyfriend who treats me like shit. And there are people who will not make me feel bad. Like, obviously, like, that feels so simple when you're looking in from the outside, but it's just so impossible to convince someone if they're not fully on board. And I've been in this situation so many times.
Yeah. This is definitely, I feel like, a thing that women deal with more than men. Yeah. Historically, at least in my life. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And not to say that, like, I don't have plenty of guy friends who I cannot stand their girlfriend, but, like, I
feel like guy friends just shut up.
Guy friends shut up, but also we don't often hear about how poorly maybe they're being treated by their girlfriend as much as we see it. And we go, yikes. Yeah. Like, to the point where, like, hey, did you want to talk about it? You don't? Nothing you want to talk about? Cool.
The difference between men and women right there. Oh my God.
Yeah. Nothing to say. Everything's good. That's not great. Yeah.
Sick.
The thing that really does stand out to me is, like, you know enough, or at least she shared with you about, like, the finances thing and, like, hiding or doing something on the rent thing.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, I mean, I'm kind of like a big believer in like the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if like you're hiding finances about something that like is shared too, it's not even like something that's like doesn't impact them
Right.
as a couple or
She's
together.
directly impacted.
Right. It'd be one thing if like he's got his own thing that he's doing that is separate from her, but if like it's rent and they live together, it's like
That matters.
you know, last thing you would like if I woke up one day and didn't realize that my credit score had been tanked because my partner didn't pay the rent, and just I got 4 or 5 different like hits from different credit agencies, but that would be devastating. The thing that I think is important is that you don't, if you care about her and you care about your friendship, you don't make it so that it's so painfully obvious to your friend that you're such you're in complete disapproval of her boyfriend that she stops sharing anything with you.
Right.
That's
Because
key.
once she shuts you out, then she feels like she doesn't have the support.
Yeah. So I think finding a way for when she's telling you things that you certainly like your red flag meter is going off, finding a way to try and dig at like getting her to tell you more how she feels about that
Right.
is way more effective than being like telling her what she already knows probably. Like, because even if she's got excuses for it, she's got excuses for it because she's trying to protect the version of it that isn't as easy to like figure out. You've got to help lead her there and then sadly watch her make the decision she's going to make.
Yeah. I think in the past, I can think of 2 like very, very relevant times in my life where I've been the friend that I feel like they came to every time there was an issue, and we had the same conversations over and over and over and over again. But I think the most important parts of like that routine in my experience is, one, keeping the line of communication open, because I think a lot of the times girls are scared to leave their longtime boyfriend because they're comfortable, right? It's like they're scared of leaving the routine and the comfort that they've created for 4 years.
It's
and like
the security and
I totally understand that.
in what they already are familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think like in the situations I've seen in the past is making sure that your friend knows that you are there for her no matter what happens. And if she does decide to leave, like you're there as a friend to help comfort her, to help like get her through whatever is going to be the scary part that might happen afterwards. You know what I mean? It's like to make the leap is very, very scary for her to potentially even inch towards breaking up with that partner.
Right.
But I think the comfort of knowing that they have a friend who is waiting to like catch them on the other side makes it easier and makes the idea more feasible every single time there's another red flag that piles up on top. And listen, it may never happen. The day may never come where they like, okay, that's it. Finally, I'm done. I'm like rinsing my hands of this. You know what I mean? Like that day may never come, and that's going to fucking suck. And you're going to have to hear about it over and over and over again, maybe for the rest of your life. And, you know, that might just have to be something that you have to put up with, and you put a smile on and let them know that you support them through whatever they need and are there to help. But hopefully, you know, I think that you're doing everything you can, and it's not a reflection on how good of a friend that you are, whether they're leaving or not. It is all internal in terms of that person making the final decision of whether or not they are ready to leave.
Yeah.
And nothing will convince them otherwise.
You are not in control over whether or not they see the light. You are in control of whether...
As frustrating it is, because it's like, oh my God.
If only everyone could just be like us, you know?
Perfect.
No, but it's so much easier to like look at somebody else's problem and be like, oh, let me dissect yours.
Exactly.
But it's just so difficult to like remember and maturely put into words the fact that like you aren't in control of their actions. You're only in control of how you present the information. And then you just have to just shut up and just watch shit unfold.
Sounds like you're a good friend, though. Good for you.
No, you're a great friend.
Good
The
for
fact that
you.
you're calling in to talk about somebody else's problems
right.
is phenomenal.
A+.
I want more of you in my life.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I just wanted to tell y'all about a little story. So, you know that meme that was going around, like, what happens if you crash your car listening to music? I think even on, like, one of y'all's earliest episodes, you even said, like, oh, imagine if that happened to someone listening to our podcast. Well, I did it. Basically, I hydroplaned during a tornado warning and hit a guardrail, then flipped over the side of the guardrail. The car filled up with water. I thought I was going to die, basically. But eventually, I was able to get out, and people stopped to help me. So I made it out and was completely okay. Well, physically traumatized, but it's okay. Besides, obviously, being pretty sore and in pain. But all this to say, that I did it. And I guess luckily for me, since my phone went underwater, the podcast shut off. Phone works though somehow. But how awkward would that have been? Because the episode I was listening to, y'all, I can't make this up. It was the most dangerous sex position.
Right.
Of course.
Where it was talking about broken dicks and everything.
Jaws of life, broken penis.
But yeah, that was dodged a bullet, I guess, but not the guardrail, unfortunately. Anyways, love y'all.
Nothing like going underwater in an upside down car over a guardrail to the sounds of our voices talking about, oh my God, is this a video? Shut the fuck up right now. Oh my God, if you were on the audio version, this is most likely worth coming over to video just to see the video that accompanies this.
About Black Creek, 326, like really isolated right there, like it may have crossed.
Oh my God. Our voice talking about how reverse cowgirl snaps dicks. Car upside down.
Why are you driving in a tornado warning?
No, tornado warnings I feel like are very common in Texas.
Tornado watches, not warnings.
Is there a difference?
Shoshana, you got that, right?
Yeah, I'm looking into it.
Okay. Yeah. There's
a difference between a watch and a warning?
Watch.
Both seem very precautionary.
Watch means watch.
Because there might be one
the
happening?
environment and the conditions tend to be similar to the type that then breed tornadoes, whereas tornado warning is a tornado has touched down in your area. Warning.
Oh, there's contact.
Yeah, watch is like watch out for them. Warning is there's one there. So the tornado warning means there was a tornado.
It seems frequent though. Can we get a Google on how many tornadoes happen in Texas a year? I feel like it's gonna be a lot.
What? How many do you think?
I think over 50.
Okay, no, probably over 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
132.
Yeah.
That's fucking 1/3 of the year.
Right, but Texas is huge.
Okay, but I'm just saying that I feel as if we should not be judging her for driving in a tornado warning.
Listen, she's listening to us. I can't judge
Oh,
at
I
all.
see. Okay, so watch, be prepared. A tornado is possible. Stay alert. A tornado warning. Take action. A tornado is happening or about to happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't? Is that an American thing? Is that not the same in Canada?
Well, we didn't have tornadoes in St.
Tornadoes
Catharines.
don't exist in Canada?
They do, I'm sure, in the middle, but like we don't do tornadoes. Don't really
do the middle.
We don't do tornadoes.
Got it. Okay. Listen, I think that you're if you could just leave out that you're listening to us to your insurance in the event that then somehow gets back to us, that'd be great.
That would be good. That'd be good. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for the story time. I'm glad you are okay.
And that you didn't. I'm so sorry that you had trauma to the sound though of reverse cowgirl. That's gonna be like a cursed sex position now, maybe as well too.
Yeah. No.
Maybe we stay away from tornadoes and also reverse cowgirl.
Don't take all the fun out of my life. It was good to kick it with Lafayette this week. It really was.
Always is.
Yeah. Always is. Always has. Always will be.
Our next podcast is our first pregnant podcast.
Ooh, you're right.
Yeah.
There
will be a fetus in the room.
We've got an announcement for you. We're not pregnant, I think.
I
You're in your
just
period
finished my
right now.
period.
So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
we're not
We're
pregnant.
not pregnant.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
Keep the
But there will be
W29
4.5 of us next week.
Keep the W29 hotline flowing.
Oh yeah, we love it.
Keep it moving. Keep
We'll
it going.
leave the instructions in the description box. And also,
Are you gonna remember to do that?
What?
Are you gonna do that?
I'll do it.
Just-
WT9 with a number hotline at gmail.com.
At hotmail.com. Actually, that would have been funny to make it the hotmail.com. Anyway, we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.